Hey everybody, welcome to Billiard Geek. I got Billy here to work on my table today. It was rolling off a little bit.
Just a little.
And he tightened up some felt and he showed me some tricks of the trade. And we'll go into that in some other videos. But today I just want to do an interview and introduce Billy and tell us a little bit about yourself. How'd you get in the game? And
Oh wow! Believe it or not, I've worked in security in a mall in Northwestern Hills, and Golden Shark Billiards was there, and I got to meet Steve and Don over there, and that got me started in the billiard business. I got a franchise, started working on tables.
Okay.
That was been 26 years ago.
Okay.
So been in love with it ever since.
All right. So is it really the table, the player, or the stick? Like you.
You know what? I saw Venom the other day take a $10 Walmart cube to a tournament, and he gave it a lot of 9s and 10s.
Okay.
But I think I'll stick with my higher end cubes.
Okay. All right. So how we're going to do the interview today is I asked a lot of my Facebook friends to give me questions to ask you.
Okay.
We don't often get experts, to talk about tables and equipment and stuff like that. So one of the questions that came up a lot was, could you provide some tips and tricks on how for table maintenance?
Table maintenance. Well, there's several different tables. On your table right here, just making sure that keeping the cloth clean. They have a thing called felt cleaner. You can get off of Amazon or any billiard store. It's a spray on, it's a dab. That seems to be the best thing to use.
Okay.
Some people like to use shot backs. Anything that's going to pull and tug on your felt, you're going to get stretched, no matter what you do.
Okay.
So just realize after several of those, you being an avid player, you're probably have to do it more than most. But the average person, that's the main part of it. Your pockets, if they get loose, you want to tighten those up. Leather pocket tables, they have metal pegs that go into the rails on the ends here. When you start seeing those sag and get loose, people have a tendency to want to hang on to those, they want to lean. So you'll start seeing cracks develop on the top of your rail.
Oh, wow.
So release your rails, tighten those bolts up on the inside of your pockets, put your rails back.
Okay.
Restaple, That's just some good things to keep your table nice and tight and not overdo it.
Okay. And one thing I asked him about was using Lint Roller.
Yes. Lint rollers are pretty good for the top part of your rails. But if you're doing it consistently, you kind of saw later on how you started getting that. But this is Simonis.
Okay.
And Simonis does have a period of time where you need to re-stretch it and get it tight, nice and tight.
Oh, you do?
But
Okay, I didn't know that.
There is a time, because once those fibers relax, you're going to get loose. You maybe go to a pool hall, they got a brand new felt on, 2 weeks later, you're like, man, why is this so loose? Well, when people play, we have a tendency to want to set our hand on the table and then we slide into our shot. When you're sliding into your shot, you're pulling those fibers. So eventually it gets to a point where it's stretched out. It's time to come in and re-stretch and cut the excess.
Okay. And one of the things that I find beneficial by using the Lint Roller is one of my pet peeves is when I go to a pool hall and I have their stuff underneath the rail. That is the nastiest thing ever.
And people always the change, sweaty pocket, or put their money under it.
Yeah.
I get it. So Lint Roller is great. Just understand that over time it's just going to relax.
And it's kind of like user preference, whatever you're willing to
Whatever
do
you're
the
willing to
maintenance.
do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So the next question is, how do you know when it's time to change your felt or your rails?
When you start seeing a lot of wear, whenever you start seeing a lot of holes and stuff, and once again, I go back to personal preference. If you're okay with seeing burnt felt, when people want to do massé shots, jump shots, if you're comfortable with that, I believe there's a young kid out there, I can't remember his name, but watching his table, he's got spots all over it. But that's just a sign that he uses his table.
Right.
So when you start seeing felt or slate come through, it's time.
Okay.
You're going to see it'll be more of a scene thing. Like Simonis, it's got a 3,000 game wear on it. So if you're hitting pretty close to that, sound like you play a whole lot. So when you get into 3,000 games, you're definitely going to see the wear on that.
Yeah, okay.
So anytime you see a rip in the top part, it's probably getting pretty close. You don't want to leave that bumper exposed too long.
Okay.
Because once you're up here, it's just your cue's going to catch it, your hand can catch it, your watch can catch it, jewelry. So all that stuff can just continue to tear.
Okay.
So.
All right. Yeah, I figure I've had the table for 2 years, so I was thinking probably every 3 years with good maintenance.
Probably. I mean, you're looking at about 1,000 games a year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actual game. When you're in here practicing, it's a little different.
Yeah.
But when you start seeing the lines,
It's
it'll
getting
be
there.
tough. It's time.
Okay. All right. And then, all right. So next question: what type of felts do you suggest for what type of player?
Okay. It all do. There's several kinds. I mean, there's Andy Cloth, there's Malley, there's Championship, there's some Monas, there's Tour Edition. What you're going to find with avid players that are playing the Tour, 9 times out of 10 is going to be Simonis. Simonis has got a great name. It's been out there a long time. They've had a lot of years of developing that. Championship is making a strong run. Side by side, going to Championships class, they were able to take the cloth side by side, do it 3,000 rotations, and they seem to be pretty comparable as far as how they handle the wear and tear on that. But if you're going to be an avid tournament player, you're going to be playing on Simonis, you're going to be playing on Tour Edition. So I try to stay within those two because right now they're dominating the market.
Right.
Now, if you're getting into Chinese billiards, is actually making a push. That's a slower cloth, a slower game. It's all more ball control.
Yeah.
So we may see something like that coming soon.
Okay.
Because our players are going to China and they're loving the game. Because
Right.
it's not a hard, fast blow through it. That's strategy, and those
Right.
players are phenomenal. So
Chess, not checkers.
that's right.
Yeah.
And if we can get people to start understanding that.
Yeah.
it'd be
Right.
great.
Right. Yeah. One thing that you said earlier is you mentioned a type of felt I never heard of. You said it was a really high-end felt.
Yeah, I believe it's
Andy.
Andy Cloth.
Okay.
Andy's it's a little faster than Simonis.
Oh, it's
I know
okay.
a couple of friends of mine that play and are avid are really good. They love that cloth. They like the speed.
Oh, okay.
So when they go to Simonis and stuff, it's just a tad slower.
Okay. Follow-up question on that. Can you talk about the difference between K55 and K66 rails?
K65, K66, it's just the angle of the bumper. If you go online and look those up, it's the face of it. K55 is typically a smaller bumper, comes down a little lower.
Mm-hmm.
K66, it all depends on the cut of the rail on your tables.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them take a K55. A lot of your bar rooms are K55s.
Yeah, that's what
But
I
they
found too.
bump to a K66 because it brings the bumper up a little higher. And if anybody knows, the higher the ball hits on the bumper, the faster you're coming off. That's why
Okay.
you got your ridge backs,
Okay.
AccuFast, all those have more of a straight out.
But the diamonds come with K55s, right?
Okay, yes, but the way it's cut to the rail
Okay.
makes it really, really quick cloth.
Is that a reason, like if it comes off lower, it kicks short? Is that the reason it kicks short on a diamond?
On some, yes.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
yes, sir.
Okay. And so I know that you do, you move tables as well.
Yes.
And what would somebody who maybe budget is a little limited, but they still want a table, and maybe they're going to sit in their garage with some humidity, what should they look for in a table?
When you're buying used tables, you need to kick the tires. You know, you definitely want to check your bumpers out. Things that are an added cost are the things you don't see.
Mm-hmm.
And if the bumpers are bad, taking the ball and hitting against all the way down, if you hear thuds or slaps, you probably got a bad bumper. Well, these bumpers come in a series of 6.
Mhm.
So you're not just going to change one, you're going to change all 6. And that can run you anywhere from $150 to $250, depending on what kind of bumper you want to put on it.
Right.
Pay attention to your pockets. If the leather's dried out and starting to crack and break, a set of pockets will run you about $80, $90.
They do.
Table moves, I've seen across the DFW area, it ranges anywhere from $200 to $450, $500.
Mm-hmm.
I did a snooker table 6x12 and it cost them $1,200. But each slate was 350 pounds, took 6 men to get it upstairs. So
Upstairs?
upstairs,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
It was a fun day. We loved it. But we got it done. It's a beautiful table.
Yeah.
So absolutely, buying used is great. Just that's part of the bargaining chip. Hey, look, your bumpers are bad. Can you come off a little bit? Pockets are bad. You might come off a little. And then factoring in the move. You
Right.
know. Finding table mechanics that actually sell tables, we kind of know what we're looking for. So we do a whole package deal where we'll get one, fix it, and try to make sure it's good for the customer to play on. We don't want to give you a problem.
So what if I was like, I found on Facebook Marketplace or something, I found a table and I call the person and be like, hey, I like your table, I'm interested, can I send a guy by to look at it? Would you do that service, go check out a table for somebody?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We do a fee. Typically, it's going to run about $50 to $75.
Okay.
That's the drive time to go over, do the tire kicking thing. We give no guarantees on the slate because we're not taking the table apart.
Mm-hmm.
So everything's up to the point of taking the slate off the table.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's a Carter pin slate, anything from like 65 back, Carter pins have been known to blow out. Because people don't realize, especially some newer mechanics coming in, that when they pop the slates loose, they pop those cotter pins that are sitting inside the slate. So you can get into a problem. So you gotta be careful with those older tables.
Okay.
Know what you're getting.
All right. So my last question, I have a buddy who, like most people, don't have enough space in their house for a pool table.
Right.
And he's like, well, I just need something to practice on. So he bought. It actually looks like a folding table, but it's a folding pool table.
Okay.
And he got it, and I told him, I said, well, it's better than nothing. You can like practice straight shots, practice your angles,
Right.
quarter ball, half ball, stuff like that. But he was like, well, would it be worth me putting some better felt on it and putting new rails on it? I still don't have enough space for a table in my house, but I can get a better table. I mean, what do you think about that?
When you start getting into tables like that, they're built with the manufacturing felt that's already on it. And a lot of those you can't even change the felt out on. But you have to literally tear them apart to try to put something on. There's no guarantee it's going to go back the way it come apart.
Okay.
So just remember that you can find a 3x6 pool table.
Oh, okay.
There are 3x6s out there. Bumper pool.
Oh, yeah.
You can go to bumper pool, and those aren't there, octagons. Those out there you can still work angles and stuff like that. Get yourself around. Garages, I see people you literally can find people giving away a pool table, put it on the back patio.
That's true.
Just throw it on the patio, get the cheapest felt you can think of, throw it out there, and just something to pound balls on, especially right now with everybody being locked down. But
Right.
just anything to get them, just to get on the table to play.
Yeah, because sometimes you just need table time.
That's it.
Or
Just
therapy,
table
as
time.
I call it.
Exactly. That's it. It's our golf. We get
That's it. I'm not going down the heat anymore. So.
There you go.
So, but hey, I really appreciate it. You were very accommodating, very polite, very professional,
I appreciate
and
it.
hopefully with the people that are watching and they give you a call and give you a try.
Hey, it'd be great. Give us a holler.
All right.
I look forward to it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, man. Thank you.